Okay, so I'm going to do a rude and crude here. This is about my beginning adventures again, trying again for microgreens. The most important thing for starting microgreens is to have an appropriate ground temperature, and I stumbled across a chart that told me that basically 75 degrees or so is a good temperature to have in order to have a high rate of germination in the least possible length of time. So I got this pad from Amazon for about 20 bucks. When I first plugged it in, it went up to 85 degrees, which is too hot. So then I went to the hardware store and I bought an extension cord, and I bought this dimmer switch, which I wired into the extension cord to give me a control. And you can see here I'm making some markings on the switch to find out where, to get calibrated. And then I have this thermometer on there, which I just got at Lowe's very cheaply, to actually see what the temperature is. Right now it's running just over 70 degrees. Okay, so here's your typical 10 by 20 germinating tray. You can buy these more often than not. In San Francisco I can't get these with holes, so I just use a hot nail and a vice grip to punch a bunch of holes in the bottom so it will drain. And here you can see that I filled the tray with organic potting soil to a certain depth, and actually I made this little grater type device using a piece of wood and a dowel and some zip ties in order to get a nice level surface of the desired depth. Here's the previous crop of microgreens, which did not have proper temperature control, and you can see by the irregularity in the heights that the germination has been very uneven, so it will be interesting to see what this next batch turns out to be. And here I have the next crop, which is 2 tablespoons of mung beans and 2 tablespoons of chickpeas, which I soaked overnight. I put a couple of drops of hydrogen peroxide in each of these, as I understand that can be used for sterilization, keep E. coli and other bad bugs from growing. This was just your typical drugstore stuff. I will be switching to buying some food grade peroxide at Rainbow Foods or some other health food outlet. Here's the seed spread out. We see that 2 tablespoons of the chickpeas did not cover half the tray, whereas 2 tablespoons of mung beans covered about half this tray. And to fill up the end, I just put in a bunch of salad bowl lettuce seeds to see. This is what I used here, salad bowl salad. So the nice thing about microgreens, I think, is that you can, you can have a crop every 10 days, so you can cycle through very quickly and see what things are growing well and what things are not. Anyway, I was going to put some more soil on top of these things to be covered, so that's the next phase. Next, I'm going to be soaking it down with this pumped up sprayer. The water is not tap water. The water is going to come from this drip filter. This is a Just Water filter that I got from Amazon. I've actually had this for quite a while, but it still produces pretty good water. Also, it's not going to be plain water. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid micronutrient in it, and I'm also going to put just a little bit of, God forbid, Microgreens plant food with high nitrogen to encourage growth. So laying the thermometer on the heating pad while I was doing the seeding has allowed me to adjust the dimmer switch in order to get right at that sweet spot at about 75 degrees. Okay, so here I've placed the seeded tray onto the 75 degree germination pad and put another tray on top to keep it dark. Also, you can see in the background I have this light. This is a 29 watt or so cool white CFL bulb in there that I'm going to use to extend the day length for the plants that are already sprouted. One thing you may have noticed is that I'm putting more soil in than a lot of people, and people might say, well, isn't this going to make this very expensive to run? My answer is I'm not planning to discard the soil after every batch. I'm thinking we don't do this in the garden, so why should we do this indoors? I do plan to when I recycle my soil, I'm going to use a plastic colander I have. I'll show you a picture in a second, and filter out the roots and things like that, and then I'm going to mix maybe 1 to 10 of this organic compost into it. And here's the plastic colander that I mentioned, which I plan to use to sift the roots out of the soil before I recycle it. So the whole idea behind this miniature setup is to basically learn the craft. This is a skill like any other growing type of operation, and the idea is here to use this tiny little setup to get a continuous production going.